This is it. The beginning. We're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff. Hopefully you guys get to figure out where I'm at, what I'm doing. We're gonna talk about a lot of other stuff. AI, the economy. But right now, we're gonna go visit the Amazon. Some of you may already know where I am just by looking around. I'm not gonna say it yet. Hopefully you guys can figure it out. The other thing you're gonna have to figure out is how to see everything else that I'm seeing without me guiding you through it, but we'll get through that. This is a monument to the country. We're gonna take a little walk out to the beach and go for a little stroll as the sun sets. There's a big party going on over there if you can hear the music. But hopefully through this whole process, some of you guys may be listening to me just audio on a various set of platforms. Some of those platforms include video. So you'll be able to watch and see a lot of that stuff also. So this being the first beta segment or episode, I'm gonna be describing some of the stuff because I know a lot of you watching are improving right alongside me with our LLMs and the way that we are engineering, the way that AI does work for us. And part of what these episodes and segments are gonna do is help that AI and those LLMs do exactly, or more fine-tune exactly what they want, what we want them to do. AI will potentially, and again, there are some mechanical components to this that a lot of the information that I haven't shared yet will already be available to you. So I'm in the capital city of Benin. Cotonou is the name. Some of you may have gotten here to this segment. It may be on a podcast platform. It just may be on YouTube. You may see it on a traditional audio platform like Spotify. Some of you I've met in the international trade industry. Some of you perhaps in the medical industry. Some of you in consulting, either for government or private business. And a lot of what we're gonna do, particularly with these segments, is allow AI to dissect a lot of stuff for us, specifically me. I mean, this is gonna be my segment. We're gonna let AI start to learn a bunch of stuff. French is very common here, but there is another language called Fombe. How are you? Good. Energy. Yeah. Crazy tiger. Tigre. I don't know. I don't know that one. Afongongji. Afongongji. Ezonde. Ezonde. Hello. Bonsoir. So right there was a perfect example. I got to communicate in Fombe, which is a very common language in this specific area of Benin. And there's dozens more that stretch through throughout Benin. But if you aren't aware of the geography or the political map of the Republic of Benin, it lies in between Togo to the west and Nigeria to the east. It is in Western Africa. The body of water, the part of the Atlantic Ocean that we're walking to, is generally known as the Bay of Guinea. That's the specific area that we're in. Again, one of the primary languages here is French. This is a former French colony. French spans a lot of the various regions here in creating a common communication means, so that those that only speak a tribal language, they can travel throughout the country and even across borders and still be able to communicate. There's a fair share of people that speak English, but definitely everybody's going to speak some basic French, at least better than what I speak. I think I know maybe 25 words, and I still don't know the verbs that I know, I don't know how to conjugate. But it'll be interesting as we go through these different segments, whether or not you want to call them episodes, or if you want to call them, I guess we'll call them episodes. We'll be able to dissect some of those language components and let AI listen to that. It'll be interesting to see how AI listens to me and my accent, and whether or not I even say things correctly. I think I have a couple things down that are said correctly. The accent and the intonation may be a little off, but it's generally gonna be okay. I know my French is not that good, mostly because I don't have enough vocabulary to start to really further extend myself in the language. But we're gonna let AI do its job. We're gonna watch what it sees. We'll be able to take this video and enter it into various AI models that will dissect it and record the components for us. And then we're gonna try to link those. I know a lot of you out there use it as a means of e-commerce. We'll see whether or not this immersive 360 format, and again, if you're not seeing this in an immersive virtual reality or 360 format, or spherical video sometimes it's called, we may have already edited it down. So again, full disclosure, which sometimes doesn't happen in a lot of these videos, it's December of 2025. And again, I mentioned that I'm on the beach in Cotonou, Benin. So if the video's not connected, we can further dissect that. And even some of the models, we may find that AI will probably discover some things we weren't thinking of. I generally call that knowing the unknown. A lot of you that have worked with me in the consulting world will know that I generally add that at the end of a lot of analyses and things that we, as we study various projects and create solutions and systems to accomplish those projects. The last one is, sometimes it's broken into two segments, is what do we not know? Because every once in a while we can identify what we don't know, but then there's the unknown components of, hey, we don't know what we don't know, but we can anticipate some of that, hopefully, and then continue to build solutions or fail-safes that will help prevent us from running into too much of a significant issue. Those of you that can see, you guys can scroll around and see this beach. There's definitely the Atlantic vibe here. For those of you that have been on the beaches of Florida and Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, up into Virginia, the vibe does change once, at least in my experience, as you get up into Virginia. the way it smells and the way it feels. I think you get high enough in latitude that there's a little bit of a temperature difference, even though the humidity and temperature may be the same as further down south. But it's probably about 90 degrees here. Might be 92. The humidity is going to be fairly high, 60-70%. And we've got the endless summer sunset going on. So hopefully that gets edited in a way that you guys will be able to see it. But if not, you may even be wearing VR goggles. You can scroll around and see the sunset, see this fishing boat that's out here, ready for the tide to come in for it to get launched. But we may get up to it and discover that it's not in a condition to actually go and set in the water and go fishing. But we'll get up there in just a sec to see. There's a lot of other things that I am excited to see how AI analyzes. One is I'm walking on the sand. I know how it feels to walk on the sand. How does AI feel when it walks on the sand? There's a little bit of an inside joke in there for a lot of you, because there's also going to be how AI analyzes my description of what it's like to walk on the beach, or what it's like to get into the water and feel the surf and taste the salt. Bonsoir. Avant Gongji. Yeah, avant Gongji. Entendez. As I've been moving around Benin, I've noticed that spoken Fombe is much more common down here in the south on the coast. And then as I've gone up further to the north, French is much more the common communication language. There's several additional languages up there that I've tried to communicate to people in Fombe, and I've been around long enough now to know the facial expressions that indicate they don't know what I said. Sometimes it's my accent is horrible, or in their brain they're expecting to hear something they don't understand. So even if it is a language that they do speak, them expecting to hear something completely non-intelligible, or there's something they can't translate or understand, and then my accent makes it super difficult. So hopefully be able to refine some of that. Again, a lot of those earbuds that we've been selling that do live translation rely on a lot of that AI analysis, so that it can actually hear the words, intonation, and the accents to know how to translate it properly. Again, mechanically, you've got to set those things to a specific language, unless there's some new ones out there. And I'm sure there's some ultra powerful ones, but the ones with the smaller processors in them got to be set to a specific language so that it knows much more so. Knows exactly what to be listening for. Bonsoir. How are you? I know, sorry. I know this is my energy drink. Do you want it, the Crazy Tiger?
Give me.
You got? Will you say hi to my friends? Say Kwabo.
Kwabo.
You know Kwabo?
Yeah.
That's all I have right now.
Juste petit pièce.
I know.
Juste petit pièce pour manger.
I don't speak enough French. I know manger, but that's all I got right now. That's all I have right now. Ezonde. that interaction right there, very typical of all of Africa that I've been to. I haven't been to a lot of Africa, but like some of you that are here, missing Heaven with a TR, he used to joke with me because he'd never hadn't had the chance to come visit Africa. And every once in a while I'd say something, he'd be like, wait, that's another country that you've been to in Africa, or region. And then he would just get mad. So that's another component of this episode, is in memoriam to Heaven with a TR. Those of you that have found this through Trevin's avenues or his social media accounts or family and friends. But he's definitely someone that put the effort into getting our podcast launched. The last time we analyzed it, it was going to be titled, inevitably, the Trevin and Evan podcast. It changed every once in a while. There were a couple other ones. I don't know. If you guys want to comment on it, if there is a comment section that you have some access to, you can leave a little blurb about Trevin, whatever you think's appropriate. But I used to joke with him that we should do our best not to get subscribers. And he thought that I was out of my mind. I was like, no, it's important. We just need to be the podcast that has 0 subscribers, but people still listen to our episodes. So that's, again, another segment that I'm going to continue to analyze and research, is how important are subscribers? You know, the various algorithms that platforms out there are using, that still in general is important. And a lot of times it's a new user will look at that and say, oh, they've got 7 subscribers, they've got 77,000 subscribers, they've got 586,000 subscribers. That number in and of itself is going to interest them. And that interest is then going to lead either to subscribing, which may be worth it, may not be worth it, versus them just being interested and saying, hey, I never subscribed to that. I never turned notifications on, but it was interesting enough for me to go back and find it. Now, for a lot of people, that's still an important component. They like it enough to subscribe, so they can enable notifications, because they do want to be reminded to varying degrees, right? Do they get a notification with a reminder that automatically places whatever channel or video into their calendar so that they can plan on watching it, or do they just let it sit there and watch it whenever they get the chance? Again, those algorithms measure that, because ultimately, in the end, we're all trying to sell each other something. I mentioned it before with e-commerce. All of these platforms generally have some type of monetization solution. But again, if it's interesting enough, you're just gonna watch it. You're gonna be engaged. It's either gonna make you think, you're gonna be entertained, or there's another connection, whether it's spiritual, it's emotional, and a lot of times that stuff is directly linked to how efficacious we are at selling something, right? You know, if someone has something that we already know and they're presenting it in a way that you feel loved and cared about, you're still gonna listen to it, or at least recognize it, as opposed to something you may not know, that you're desperate to gain that knowledge and a better understanding, and they present it in a way that emotionally you're not ready for, or you're ready for, but they present it in a way that you don't accept. Again, there's no interest there, even though it was something that you wanted. I know in some of the sales trainings that I went through, the guy would be like, hey, just remember, they may not know what you're selling. If they knew you were selling $20 bills for $5, guess what? They would be buying. So you've got to find out what's value added. So you could ask yourself right now, what is Evan selling? What's Trevin selling? What's any one of the businesses that we've formed and created, what are they selling? Because if you're this far into the video, and it may be that AI dissected this out, because this is the really important part of the episode, and we use this to target and sell something with. I don't know, I'm probably gonna go, now that I've thought about it, and this is the first segment or episode, I'll probably intentionally go in and stop that from happening. But we'll see. Again, once you put a lot of your stuff out on the public domain, it's kind of public domain. Whether or not you truly own it, or if people cut and paste it, that can be something to going viral that you may want. So depending on how we present that, again, we can use AI as a tool to hopefully guide and control the content that we're putting out there in the way that we want it to, which is hopefully beneficial. Because we know that there's a lot of content that's put out there that's detrimental. So again, the opposite of beneficial. But again, we've got to dissect that and say, okay, what am I being sold? Is it something that's bad, and I'm being persuaded in a way where I think I'm making a choice that's good and it's to my benefit? Or is it the opposite? Is it something that truly is a persuasive argument that I realize, hey, I need to make this decision. I'm glad I now have the information to make that choice for myself. But that's where we're at. What is Evan selling me? Hopefully it's just thought. Something you can think and say, hey, because maybe I didn't present anything during this time that you've been listening to me that's of worth. We've talked about a couple things, so we'll be able to dissect and focus on one of those specifically and get further into the weeds on it, and specifically focus on that so that we can get better at it. But we'll see what happens. It'll be super interesting what AI decides is worthwhile and what it decides is just kind of inconsequential. And then even more interesting is to say, hey, AI didn't think that was worth anything, but I, with a human brain and the ability to take knowledge and wisdom and form intelligence, I can now say, hey, that actually is worthwhile. I'm going to use that. But we'll see. So we're getting closer to the end point where I wanted to end up. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the beach. I doubt that the camera's picking it up, but there is a boat. Actually, there's two of them out there. Maybe 200 meters, 300 meters out there. There's another good AI segment. Is I told you guys the distance in meters. about that distance. You can think of it in yards. It's going to be about the same. Meters is going to be a little bit further. 300 meters is a little bit further than 300 yards. But if any of you guys have ever looked up like conversion rates or anything, all of that pre-known knowledge and all of those, basically they're slide rules. If you guys even remember what slide rules are. My dad used to always remind us of slide rules because they're almost an instant way. And you see them in other places. Sometimes they're in a wheel format. Is you can turn them to the correct numbers and then it will indicate a certain value for you. So again, you could have a slide rule that says, hey, 300 yards, what is that in meters? And you can just look at it. It's a mechanical device, which can be very valuable, especially in the ocean, where electronics may end up not working for you, but you can take a mechanical device that will end up doing that for you, which is very convenient. Other similar mechanical controls are like the little sticker that's on the fuel or the fill neck on your car. It'll say gasoline only, or only diesel fuel, or whatever fuel, only alcohol, only white gas, only kerosene, or only water, depends on the whatever vessel or tank you're filling up. I'm not so sure that we could go on and on about slide rules forever, because electronics and the engineering of the mechanical components is getting better and better. I think some good examples are the device I'm capturing this on, a 360 camera. I'm not going to mention the brand name. We'll see whether or not AI can dig in there and see the file names. I'm pretty sure that's pretty easy for it. Most of you will already know, hey, the metadata is going to indicate that. But I'm not going to say it. So when AI does the transcript, the listening transcript, and puts everything down, I'm going to be able to look back and say, hey, let me listen to it while the script is being laid out and make sure that the pauses and the other noises that I'm making, the classic ums and clicks or whatever, that it actually saw that correctly. Because I can go in there and correct it and then tell AI, hey, you didn't hear it right. That's actually what was said. Now I got to be careful, because if I'm not guiding those prompts or those instructions or engineering them in a way that AI can actually do what I'm expecting it to do, it could end up being detrimental, and may set me back in a way. But at least you guys know it's on a 360 camera. If you're seeing it just in 2D, obviously it's been edited or placed onto another platform that doesn't support 360. And then some of you may notice, again, we talked about the mechanical engineering of devices. You may notice that you can shift your device. If you're wearing a VR headset, a lot of times that's the first introduction to spherical or immersive media. Most people call it virtual reality. And you can just simply turn to see everything, and then you'll continue to hear my narration, or as I talk, you'll be able to hear what I'm saying. But yeah, the manufacturer of the camera, we'll leave that for AI to figure out. And we'll see how it goes. We're getting closer to the end. I'm almost back towards the end of the runway of the international airport here that's actually really close to the beach. Really the end of the runway and the beach is the only separation. There's a highway, the beach highway,